something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and throughout the year? When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, you feel me? The SC Raiders Talk, aka boy SC or Eric, you feel me? And my boy Twuan will be joining us in just a bit. Running a little late, but he will be here. So don't worry. You can't have the 2 for 1 Nation podcast with just one person, you feel me? But shout out to everybody that's in here so far. Blessings to you guys and your families. Hope the week is doing you well, and hopefully everybody's enjoying their post-draft days. I'm feeling good of everything that has happened in the past few days, even the new signing we got a wide receiver. And just as I was speaking, I want to, you feel me? You feel me? The 2 for 1 Nation podcast is not 1 for 1 Nation. It's not one, it's 2. That means there's 2 brothers on the screen. And let me bring on my brother, man, right here, the home of the Brown Crackers, the congregation, my boy here, man, Raider Twuan in the building. What's good, Twuan?
Hey, what's good? 2 for 1 Nation podcast, 2 brothers for 1 nation. And y'all know it's the Raider Nation. Blessings to everybody, especially the congregation.
Facts, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Like I said, hopefully everybody's having a blessed week. We're going to talk about all things draft today, Michael Gallup, and what are we going to do moving forward? Because for one thing for sure that we could all agree on, the Raiders showed this week that they are not finished. We're bringing in more players. But shout out to everybody, man. Let me see who's up here in the chat so far. Raider Paul. What's good, Raider Paul? You already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. My boy Prez, what's good, Prez? Raider Resistance in the building. Thrash, what's good? Driving the truck back to the warehouse. Looking forward to listening. I appreciate that, Thrash, man. Hopefully we make it a enjoyable ride. You feel me? Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. What's good? Jose, what's good? You already know what it is, man. Shout out to my 2 cents. What's good? Steve the Luna. What's good? Good to see everybody, man. Salute. My 2 cents. Again, Gore Peterson. Salute, Kevin Lurker. You already know what it is, man. You know what? I'm just feeling good, bro. We'll continue to do it to everybody that says it, man.
Hey, hit him with it.
I know, right? Shout out to Raider Felon. What's good, Raider Felon? Good to see you. Protect the shield. My brother, what's good? PTS, good to see you, man. Freight Train, what's good? Salute. Good to see everybody in here, man. And if you don't see certain chats, it's probably because they're on the other channel. We're simulcasting on 2 different channels, the SC Raiders Talk and the Raider Twuan channel. So if you don't see some of these comments, don't think they blocked you or anything. It's just they're on another channel. But it was good to see you, man. Hey, and don't be discouraged to go from channel or whatever. Hit that like button for the both of us and stuff like that, man. Shout out to everybody, man. On T6 was good.
Make sure you drop those questions too. Drop those questions wherever you at. We do see those, so definitely. We'll address them when we get to them.
That's a fact. We always pull up them comments. Shout out to all eyes on G, man. What's good on T6? What's good? Good to see everybody, man. I don't know if I said salute, but shout out to Mukabeezy. Everybody in here, man. Snoops Hernandez, salute, bro. Salute. Anthony Estrada was good. Salute. And yes, I have the old glasses, y'all. I have the old glasses. These are the old glasses. I couldn't find my new one. I don't know where the fuck they are. But we still got to keep it going. You feel me? So the old glasses are on. The big ass glasses you see on. Yeah, they're back. You feel me? Because the Raiders are doing big things. All right, you feel me? Pause, pause, pause. No diddy, no diddy. All right,
No diddy, no diddy.
no diddy. But you feel me? Let's get straight into it, man. While more people come on by, man. You feel me? And that is the 2024 Raiders draft. You feel me? That just happened. One of the best ones in a while, I think, in my opinion, man. Talk to me, Twuan. What you feeling like this? And I'll bring out the picture of all the draft picks for people that you feel me may be living under a rock. Let me get that.
Hey, you know what? I was before before all this started cracking off. I jumped out there on the limb and I said I jumped on Telesco, fan bus and was rooting for Telesco before the draft. And that's a dangerous thing to do. You know what I'm saying? To believe in a GM before he even goes and takes his first pick. And I'm glad that he didn't make me look like a fool. I'm really happy about what we got, how he went about it in the draft. I said it a long time ago in regards to in preparations for what I started to see what was going to happen and what was going to come. I said, hey, it may not be what we want, but we're going to end up liking it. And I think that's exactly, how a lot of us saw it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us saw it a different way, but looking at what he drafted, you got to like it. Did we really, some people really wanted the quarterback, but we didn't address that. But do you like all the other guys we got? And ultimately, I'm really happy with this. Again, this is a preliminary, looking at it, because again, these guys haven't even got on the field for us and got anything in. They haven't even gone through preseason, so we don't even know how it's really going to pan out for these guys. But a lot of these guys, again, there's a lot of upside. There's a lot of positives in regards to this. And overall, for me, and I said it on my channel, but I'll say it here, the overall thing that I saw in this draft was value and versatility. And I think you can see that, and if not each and every one of them, you're going to at least see one of those things in the guys that he drafted. So value and versatility is what I saw overall in this draft, and I love it.
Facts. And I'm about to give my answer. Shout out to everybody coming in. Lord Rochitas was good. Good to see you, man. Freddie Chavez, salute. Good to see everybody coming on in. Hopefully I didn't skip anybody, but shout out to everybody coming in, man. I appreciate that. We appreciate the love and support, man. And hopefully everybody's having a blessed day so far. But straight up, let's you feel me, analyze these first 4 picks here. I think this is the first 4 picks that we're gonna analyze at first. I mean, like you said, you pretty much put the nail in the coffin. Pretty much that is versatility, the value. But I'm gonna add one more. Is make the job easier for whoever's under center. And we've been praising this. Me and Twuan have been one of the biggest ones in that phrase. I think out of anybody, build the team no matter who's under center, because it will make their job a lot easier. And I think the plan that they went with is that they seen all the quarterbacks go off the board. And I'm not in the draft room. I don't know what the hell they truly did, but just from an outside perspective looking in, it looks like they went with their last plan, which is, hey, we couldn't get our quarterback that we wanted, both of them, which was Penix and Daniels. They were gone. It looks like a little bit of a quarterback run going on, wide receiver run at first, stuff like that. Maybe a tackle will fall for us, maybe. And they just went in the route of making the job easier for the quarterback, and that's the route they went in, and that was the whole plan. Is to make their job a lot easier. And when you make their job a lot easier, we don't have to really rely on them to make huge throws. They just have to play good enough up to the NFL level in order to win games. Now, I know a lot of people don't have that much faith in Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, but at the end of the day, if we look at the reality of these two guys, we got two guys with a lot of promise on this team with the people they have around them now, right? Not only is Brock Bowers and Jackson Powers an automatic two starters, but they're generational talent for years to come. And that as long as they pan out, which I truly believe that the coaching staff will mold them into what we all know, right? And they're both weapons. At the end of the day, Brock Bowers is a weapon, and Jackson Powers is a guy up front that's going to throw a lot of people around, and that's what he's known for. So when it comes down to it, somebody like Aiden O'Connell shows a lot of promise. You know, at the end of the day, his mobility has been one of his biggest cons, but he knows he has to. It's his job to lose. They already said it, and in order for him to not to lose it, he's got to fix that cons. He's got to fix the cons, and he's got to fix that. And he already said in a presser that he's been working on his faults, and he knows what he needs to work on. So, and you know, Antonio Pierce is not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, you're good." He's gonna push him. He's gonna tell him, "Hey, go out there, and it's your job to lose. So you need to go out there and perform and work on what you got to do. And we believe in you, and go out there and compete." And now we're bringing pieces that could make your job a lot easier. And then on Gardner Minshew's side, you got a guy that is a veteran that I feel bad that he's been passed around like a blunt. It sucks that he's been passed around like a blunt because he's actually a decent quarterback. When you look at it, he's not like a Josh Rosen or Zach Wilson. Like, he's none of that. He's a person that could get you wins and brings veteran experience and helps the rookies and all this stuff. And on top of that, he's a guy that could get you dubs. You know, and that's all we care about. So you got two quarterbacks that could win. I think so. You feel me? I think we got quarterbacks that could win, and with the pieces around them, any quarterback can succeed in it.
And I completely agree with you, Eric. I think it comes down to this, and I think, you know, I always say the saying, you know, sometimes we got to take off our Raider cap and really look at our roster. And when you look at our roster, we need talent all over our roster. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where Antonio Pierce was talking about, you know, he wants competition at every position. Well, in order to infuse that competition, you got to put talent in those areas. You might think that we're good in a certain area, but as soon as you throw in a good draft pick in there, it totally shakes up that whole room. And that's what we're seeing. You even with our first round pick, you know what I'm saying? We didn't think that we really needed a tight end, but as soon as you throw in a talent like that at tight end, that automatically upgrades everything that's in that room. Whoever shakes out of that room or doesn't perform, you know what I'm saying, the way that they need to perform, they're just going to get cut from this team. But what ultimately happens is that room gets better. And I think that's exactly what Tom Telesco did. He went in there and said, hey, I'm going to go, you know, pretty much best player available. And no matter who that player is, we're just going to make room for that. I'm a person of faith, and there's a religious saying that says your anointing makes room for you. And I think in essence, what it is when you put talent in a room, you're automatically going to make room for it. Simple as that. Whoever doesn't match up to that talent, hey, I'm sorry, you got to go. And I think there's going to be some people that we kind of like, you know what I'm saying, or maybe have got used to over the years. But because there's talent now put in certain areas, hey, they're on their way out. And that's just how you build a team. We talk, me and you talk about it all the time. No matter who's under center, we got to build. And Tom Telesco is doing exactly that in this draft.
Facts. Shout out to El Capitan Rafucho. Snoop Hernandez says the Raiders weren't scoring TDs in the red zone last season, so Telesco went and got playmakers. And that's exactly what happened. He addressed it. That was a huge problem with us, and he addressed it. And that's good to see that he addressed it and knows what we need, right? Shout out to Gord Pierce. He said, I think we picked up an undrafted quarterback, Carter Badley. He's the son of Gus Bradley. I did see that. I don't really see too much of him. I mean, to comment on him, to be honest. I think he's just gonna be there to, like, you know, film me practice and whatever. I think he's gonna be one of the cuts. I think it's really Minshew and O'Connell fighting for that number one position. Shout out to LSNG. I heard some folks saying we have the worst quarterback room in the league. Well, you know how it goes. You know how that goes. uh, Bowers was a top 5 pick and JPJ was a first rounder, and we stole both. And that's a fact. It's value, man. Exactly what Twan said in the beginning, like value, value, value. And it's people that make everybody's job a lot easier. And the quarterback especially. So when we look at this roster, right, I understand our quarterbacks don't have the names, right? Oh, we don't have Caleb Williams. We don't have Jaden Daniels. We don't have Aaron Rodgers. We don't have Tom Brady. We don't have, Patrick Mahomes and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, we have a team. Mahomes, for instance, is a perfect example of just a great, talented quarterback making the best out of what he got on his roster, because those wide receivers were garbage. And they won the Super Bowl, right? Now the Raiders are going the other route. You could do the blueprint of how a team is supposed to be made. The same way the Detroit Lions are doing, the same way the Texans are doing. You draft well, you bring in veterans, and no matter which quarterback comes into play, you give him all the tools to succeed so he has the highest chance to succeed. CJ Stroud went into an opportunity where a Texans team that is up and coming with multiple weapons, that has had multiple horrible seasons back to back to back, multiple first-round picks in the top 5, and they put him in a good situation. Look at what he did. He performed. At the end of the day, I always thought CJ Stroud was the best quarterback last year coming out of college. But besides that, he showed it, right? Why? Because he had the people around him. Now you come over here, yeah, Aiden O'Connell doesn't scream, right? Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams, all those things. But did we forget he's a 4th-round talent? Did we forget that he's got all the tangibles to be a good quarterback? Just he needs to work on his mobility. That is pretty much all he needs to work on. And if he gets that mobility right, he should be fine. And they boosted up this offensive line with Jackson Powers and stuff to help out his protection on that line, because we could all agree that line was not good last year. But shout out to everybody coming in, man. Willie Wayne, what's good, Willie Wayne? Good to see you. Good to see you. Shout out to Circus. What's good, Circus? Salute, salute. Shout out to Circus, man. Shout out to Jesse Cardenas. What's good? What's good? Tight end room, linebacker room, wide receiver room is going to be loaded with great explosion and aggression on the field. That's a fact, man. Raiders got to score and hold that lead, and that's exactly right. We built the defense. We got some interior pressure. Now we're building the offense heavy, from the first 2 picks to Michael Gallup that we're going to talk in a bit about, to Whitehair, the guard that we brought in, to the coaching staff we have brought in. I mean, we're building a team, man. We're building a team. But yeah.
I like how this team is getting built out. I think, again, the way that Tom Telesco went with the best player available, he's building exactly what we need to get. I think even with the best player available, when you look at the guys we drafted, they're, you know what I'm saying, maybe outside of the first pick, but I understand why he went there. You know, everything else is a need. We need help on our line. You know what I'm saying? We need help in our secondary. I've been preaching, you know what I'm saying, along with some other people, getting a linebacker in here, because I know that we have some expiring contracts coming up. So they're all realistically, they're all needs, and it allows us to, you know, they may not necessarily be an immediate starter, you know what I'm saying, but they're all, you know, we have some people in place to give them time to get into, you know what I'm saying, a starter caliber when we get later on down, you know, breaking down these players. So I'm with it. I see the direction. I believe in what is being given. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of, you know, a lot of media is not helping the situation. They be throwing all these crazy things. But when you really listen to what Tom Telesco is saying, you know what I'm saying, what Antonio Pierce has said, and people that are really truthful in their press conferences, yeah. we're building something here, and it's a little different, you know what I'm saying, and it might feel a little uncomfortable, but trust me, that change is good.
Facts. I'm just surprised that we're worrying more than last year or the year before. I'm very confused, because it's like Wasn't Josh McDaniels the guy that really made a lot of people kind of play not up to their highest effort? Like, didn't we already establish that? So I'm kind of like, a little bit, I always knew this happens. We're so used to losing that it sucks every year that we always got to think negatively. But this year just gives me a different feeling. Not no Super Bowl or any of that, but let me shout out everybody before I continue, man. Shout out to Jalen, was good. Salute, good to see you. Hope all as well. Shout out to Navy Vet. Salute. Can't be here long today, but I'll say this draft was great and Raiders to the playoffs this season, baby. Hey, speak them facts, Jalen. Speak them facts, man. And I'm not saying Super Bowl, man. Let me just throw that out there now. SC Raiders talk is not saying Super Bowl, okay? I'm not raving. I'm not like, oh my God, we're going to win 13, 14, 15 games. We're going to go undefeated, all these things. But I will say, and I'm going to continue to stand where I've been saying for a very long time, is we were a borderline playoff team, whether you believe it or not, last season, even through all the things that were happening in the beginning of the season with Josh McDaniels and all that stuff, and a first-year offensive coordinator, a first-year coach, intern coach, a first-year quarterback, a fourth-round talent, right? And then obviously with a lot of injuries in that offensive front as well, and the offensive line not playing up to par and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, the record speaks for itself. We were still fighting for a spot late in the season, even with all those difficulties. And you kind of see the Antonio Pierce effect, man, how much these guys want to play for him. And the more I watch podcasts, y'all, the more I watch, I seen the recent one with Davante Adams, man. I don't know if you guys seen it, Max Crosby. Cool, hell of a podcast. You kind of see how they talk about the demeanor of these guys and what their aggression, that he's never seen so much competition across all positions in the locker room, in the Raiders facility. He hasn't seen this much competition across the board. Everybody's competing. Everybody wants a starting spot. Everybody wants to play for the Shield, and that's all we could ask for, right? And I really think our schedule is tough. I will say that. And our schedule release is in a week, I believe, so we will be live for that a week from now. But at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind that this team has the potential to make the playoffs next season. And listen to my words specifically, right? They have the potential to reach the playoffs. They have it there. This team is built like that. Now, are they going to complete it? Only time will tell. And we got to see how preseason goes and all these different things. But the people they have brought in have been amazing. And let's go straight into, individual players, right? Brock Bowers, Jackson Powers, man. What's your overall thoughts on that, Twuan?
Value. Value. You know what I'm saying? You're getting I want Raider Nation, I want us to really look at least that first pick. Let's just look at the first pick. I want you guys to look at the first pick not as a tight end, but just look at the first pick as a weapon. Okay, look at it as a weapon, and that's exactly what Brock Bowers is going to bring to the table. He can play like a tight end. He runs routes like a wide receiver, and he can run like a running back. You know what I'm saying? He does all three. He plays all three of those positions. You know what I'm saying? All in one. And that just adds even more flexibility, more intrigue, more disguising, all of that. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm Hulk Hogan. What are you going to do when Brock Bowers and Davante Adams are running wild on you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what's going to be brought to the table when those guys line up and they're out there. Defenses are going to have to try to figure out what routes these guys are running and combinations of routes that are going to be put out there all at the same time, just because we have so much out there on the field at the same time. And getting and looking at some of the analysts speak on Brock Bowers, saying that in the overall totality of the draft, out of the skill position, they said that Brock Bowers was number 2. You know what I'm saying? Like he was way up there in regards to, you know what I'm saying, the value of the players in the overall draft. That means tackles, linebackers, all the positions. They identified Brock Bowers at least to be in the top 5, and for us to get him at 13 was an amazing value. Now, Jackson Power Johnson, you told me to go to the second one, right?
Yeah. Oh, let me go to the chat real quick, and then we'll go to the second, and then I'll let you do the second one. Shout out to others on G says, I haven't felt this optimistic in years, especially with McDoofus at head coach. That's a fact, man. Shout out to everybody coming in. Sam Tanka was good. Good to see you. Salute Willie Wayne. Salute Dylan Lobby, led in all scrimmage purpose yards in the division college for the last 2 seasons. We'll talk about that soon. He's one of my favorites out of this draft. Been great, my brother. Shout out to everybody in here, man. May 9th is the schedule release. Perfect. So it's 7 days in a week for sure. Shout out to All Things Raiders Network. Ben, what's good? Salute to you. Hope all is well. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Shout out to everybody. Randy, what's good, Randy? Bigger, stronger, Debo, old school age back. There you go, man. Shout out to Randy. What's good? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good afternoon to everybody, man. Coming in strong, man. NFL and ESPN has us 8-8. These hassles. That's how it goes, man. I even see something that we're 6.5 in wins. I don't know if you've seen that, Twuan. We're 6.5 wins. Over under. If you guys don't choose the over on that, that's the easiest money you could win so much, because we are winning more than 6.5 games, bro. There's no way we don't win more than that. But let's go on to Jackson Powers. Talk to me about Jackson Powers, man.
Hey, let me say this, because we on the same path. Get your money. Go to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody's talking about, when you bet, you're not supposed to be betting on your team. But in this situation, go ahead, slide a little something on the over. You know what I'm saying? If it's 6.5, tell Vegas thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna get some money back. You can almost book that. This team is better than what we've been last year, and for us, that is a horrible feat for them to say that it's 6.5. Mm-hmm. It's 6.5. Anyway, Jackson's Power Johnson, value, and versatility. Listen to this. He is a guard, but he also plays center. If you guys heard me when we were doing the initial, the initial draft, and his name came up, I said, Andre James, you're put on notice, because I know that Jackson's Power Johnson can play that center role a whole lot better than what we're going to get out of Andre James. But that's a whole nother situation. Jackson Power Johnson is a Raider, ladies and gentlemen. He's not just a Raider because we drafted him, but he's already adopted the Raider Nation. You know what I'm saying? He's already quoting God and win. You know what I'm saying? He's with exactly what the Raiders are about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that. I'm glad that we have some nastiness in the middle of our offensive line. We ain't got to go pay for it. You guys know my word, cheap labor. This is another cheap labor value that's going to be here. I'm just going to say it. He's going to go past his rookie contract with us. We're going to have to re-sign this guy. And there is indications and trendings. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to say he's exactly that, but there's some trendings that this guy may be an all-pro in the middle of our offense. And how long has it been since we've had a all-pro in the middle of our offense? This may be Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah. So let me get my insight on Bowers and stuff like this, and I feel that thrash. They said we'll be picking 5 next week. Next year, they got the Raiders finishing 4th. That's how it be, man. That's how it be. At the end of the day, hey, remember what Max said. Remember what Antonio Pierce has said in podcasts. Remember what everybody says, and remember how the Raider way was always built. There's 31 other teams. And then there's 32 other teams, then it's the Raiders, or 31 teams, one of those. 31. I forgot the exact. Yeah, there 31. You go. 31 other teams, and then there's the Raiders. It's us. The reason we smoke in the locker room, they said it. The reason they smoke in the locker room, because they don't care what anybody thinks. That's the point. We're the Raiders. We're the outcasts. We're supposed to be the outcasts. We're supposed to be the people that everybody looks at and just shits on, but we don't care. You feel me? That's what it is. So shout out to everybody. My Raiders till death was good. I mean, this quarterback, this team is set. We go talk about it, man. And I think this team right now is built to win, man. I think we have a really good team on our hand. But let me give you my insight on. Shout out to Pyro. What's good, Pyro? Good to see you. Salute. Let me go into Brock Bowers first, right? A guy from Napa, California. He's from the West Coast. You feel me? A guy that is around 6'4", 240. So like, you feel me? Just the minimum height of a tight end. The average tight end height is like 6'4" to like 6'6", 6'7", stuff around there. He had 2,538 receiving yards, the most ever by an SEC tight end, and he scored 31 touchdowns. And out of those 31 touchdowns, 26 came from receiving. So that means 5 of them came from jet sweeps and stuff like that, and one of them was like a 60-plus yarder. So you could see the versatility he brings, lining up a receiver in 2 tight end sets and all those different things. On top of that, he's practically your traditional tight end, a guy that could block, a guy that could grab pretty much possession of the ball, a red zone threat, deep threat abilities, like yards after catch specialist. He had, out of the 2,500 yards, he had 1,600 yards after catch. Yards after catch, y'all. Just think of that. A tight end having 1,600 yards after catch in his last two seasons, pretty much 40 games in total. Half of his yardage came from yards after catch. That means it was short throws, maybe jet sweeps, and he did the rest. Little screen passes, and he did the rest. And that's all on him, right? A quarterback doesn't dictate a guy's yards after catch. It's his ability to break tackles, be loose, find the holes, and stuff like that. And obviously, great value, man. A top 5 prospect. I think he was a top 5 prospect in my books. A top 5 prospect picked at 13. Great value there. Now you go to Jackson Powers, which obviously he had a lot of guard, right? Left guard, right guard, and then obviously the center position at the last season. So pretty much as a guard, he had over 12 games played his sophomore season at guard and stuff like that. And then he switched to center in 2023 and stuff like that. In his sophomore season, he played 350 snaps at right guard, 44 at center, 5 at right tackle, and 1 at left guard. But pretty much a right guard guy at the time. And then he switched over to the center position. And there, he was one of the best. He was the best center. He got the Remington Award, which is awarded to the best center in college football. And he shows the versatility. And also, he has a wrestling background. So you wonder why, when you see his film, he throws a lot of people around, because he's got that wrestling background. But great value for both these guys, both first rounders. One's a top 5 prospect, one's a top 25 prospect, and you got both of them for great value at pick 13, a top 5 prospect at pick 13, and a top 25 prospect at pick 44, man. You can't be mad at that, right? At first, I was surprised, but I liked it as more it progressed. Shout out to Jack Kenna. Was good, Jack Kenna. There are 31 teams in the NFL, and then there is the Raiders. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody, man. NFL and ESPN. This is Raider Nation. That's a fact. We will win the AFC West this season. Hey, we hope so, right? We hope so, right? Shout out to 2 positive us as guy. I don't like best player available when I've wanted for years. Shout out to Circus, man. Was good. It's not like Bowers had the greatest of quarterback throwing him in college. He has Stenson Bennett. The reason Georgia won games is because of their defense and their offensive weapons, not their quarterback. Their defense has produced one of the best defensive linemen, corners, safeties, and we have one of them, right? Chris Smith the second. You have people like Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. I could keep going down the line of all the people that were in Georgia that were really good. And at the end of the day, Brock Bowers was one of the people that came out and, you feel me, performed. Wrestlers have low center of gravity and excellent balance if they work the down. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. So I like these 2 picks, obviously. Great value, great players, generational talents, starters for years to come. I think they start the rookie season. I think they both start the rookie season. That's my prediction. And Jackson Powers, with him, there is a possibility that Whitehair might get the starting role week 1 if Jackson Powers can't establish the zone scheme that we run quickly. But I do believe that Jackson Powers will start for years to come, and he will start. So now moving on to, you could say two picks that were arguably questionable for a lot of people. And that's the DJ Glaze at pick 77 and DeCamerion Richardson out of Mississippi State, the corner at round 4. Talk to me about these players, Twan.
I think, yeah, I think I agree. I think it was the same thing. I think it was, like you said, I think it was, a head scratcher for a lot of us. But, those are the things, like, for me, whenever in regards to the Raiders, when I'm scratching my head in regards of a decision or a draft pick, I always have to go back and try to figure out why they decided to go about it. And I think it makes sense. When you look at, especially for DJ Glaze, when you look at Delmar Glaze, DJ Glaze, whatever you want to call him, when you look at the flow of the way the draft was going, a lot of offensive linemen were coming off of the board at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it was a situation where they were like, hey, I need to grab him now, or I'm going to miss on this guy. And in the Raiders organization, they had their eye on Glaze, you know what I'm saying, in regards to bringing him in because of how he performed at the Senior Bowl. I think that was a real big eye opener for the organization, and they feel like bringing him in with his physical abilities, because there is some physical ability. There's some physical abilities that they like about this guy, and I think that brought the intrigue. But the Senior Bowl pushed it over for them as, hey, this is the guy that we can bring in here. I think they believe in our coaching too. I don't think this is an immediate starter, but I think after him getting coached up with his physical abilities, it will be a guy that we can rely on, whether he's a backup, you know what I'm saying, that solid backup for us, or he's actually in the starter role. Yeah, that's DJ Glaze. You know what I'm saying? I think the Senior Bowl really helped him out, in regards to people really having their eye on him. And I think we did, and I'll be honest with you, I think we did do a little reaching here in regards to, hey, did we draft someone that was projected to be there? I don't think he was projected to be where we drafted him, but because of the flow of the draft, they had to go and get their guy. So, hey, we got to wait and see how that competition goes with him, Thayer Munford and Wagner, because those are currently the guys that are going to be battling for that right tackle spot.
Mm-hmm. But shout out to everybody coming in, man. I see Jack Kenna was good. Jack Kenna, good to see you. The offense better score more than 20 points per game. They have the possibility to, man. Shout out to Detroit Gods, the gentleman. The big picture is to understand that these are still, although they look like bodybuilders, these are young men that are in their 20s who need time to develop and learn. That's what about all the rookies there is, man. They're in their 20s, early 20s, and they're guys that a lot of them have potential. Every single one of them has potential to succeed, and it's all up to them to guide their path and the system they fall in and the coaching staff they have around them and the supporting cast they have around them. That's what it's all about. And for us, we have a very good supporting cast, man, around these guys. So that's pretty good, man. Shout out to Raider Paul again, man. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to Pyro too, man. You already know what it is. But Glaze, man, like I said, it was a little bit of a reach. It was a desperate move for a need. They didn't think that it was going to be an offensive heavy draft because the amount of defensive players that were still on the board and a lot of tackles were falling left, right, left. You seen offensive tackle, and you're like, oh my God, when are the Raiders going to get one? And they ended up pulling the trigger quickly before things got out of hand. Just to talk about Delmar Glaze a little bit, man. The boy from Maryland, very versatile guy as well, man. Played guard. I mean, some say his best position might be the guard position, which is crazy. I don't think he'll play guard at all. Maybe he'll back up if it's the last resort. But at the end of the day, man, at Maryland, if you don't know who he protected Tua Tagovailoa's brother. Tua Tagovailoa's brother is the starting quarterback for Maryland, was protecting his pretty much, I think, his blind spot, if I'm not mistaken. But besides that, he has nearly a 7 feet wingspan, y'all. 7 feet of wingspan. So that is pretty, you feel me? That's a huge wingspan. On top of that, he had over 1,300 snaps and 7 sacks allowed in it. So over 1,300 snaps, he allowed 7 sacks, which is pretty decent. He's pretty good in pass protection, but I pretty much see him as a swing tackle 100%. I don't think he's gonna start as a rookie at all. I don't think so. He's like a project, but at the same time, man, the guy's gonna gain a lot of experience underneath these veterans, underneath these second-year guys. You feel me? He said that's like 2 SCs. What the fuck? No, it's not, bro. I'm not that small, bro. Okay, but no. Jokes aside, I think this is a decent pick. I think we did reach, but at the end of the day, man, you got to see how the draft board fell. They had to make a desperate move, and they did it. They didn't have to, but one of their top priorities was a tackle. You could tell that's why they made the move. If a tackle wasn't a priority, they would have not made that move, and they would have been best player available again. But instead, they had a tackle as a priority, and they seen everybody falling, so they ended up going with DJ Glaze there. And then we go to DeCamerion Richardson, man. I'm gonna start off this one, and then we go to Twuan to talk about this pick. Round 4, pick 112, man. Hey, he's a perfect fit for Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham likes his size and speed corners. This guy is a 6'2", a 4.34 40-yard dash guy, a quick speed, burst of speed, closing speed, everything you need in a little bit of a speedster corner. On top of that, he led Mississippi State with 7 pass breakups last season and a high tackle number of 164 combined tackles in 2 seasons. Pretty much led in tackles. And he's practically, and if I'm not mistaken, he has the number 21 for the Raiders. And who wore the 21 before him last season was Amik Robertson. What was Amik's strongest suit besides him always showing effort and stuff? Was his ability to tackle and blitz and be all over the field and use his speed to his ability, the closing speed. That's exactly what DeCamerion does, bro. He brings that speed, he brings in that dogness and stuff like that, and that's what they pretty much did. It's practically like an Amik replacement. Who knows if he could reach that limit, right? At the end of the day, I have my takes on Amik. Everybody knows. But one thing I can't discredit him on is his effort. It's his effort. It's his drive. I mean, and Devontae Adams in the recent podcast he had with Max Crosby, he kind of said it. He said that you need people like Amik Robertson that came out there, and no matter what, if he got beat, he'll have like these devil eyes looking at the opposition like, oh, you're not going to beat me again. I wasn't supposed to lose that. And that's the mentality you need on the team, a dog. And DeCamerion Richardson brings that element and brings that versatility and that speed, that tackling presence that we desperately need sometimes to the team. And he fits what Patrick Graham is looking for. Will he start week 1? No. But is he good depth? 100%. What you think, Twuan?
I think this is a change of what we've been used to, and I think we've been talking about corners and the size of corners because we've been having guys that were. It seemed like every guy we was bringing in was 5'9" or 5'10". Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And this is a change from that. I think this is really what Patrick Graham really likes his corners to be. He likes them, 6 feet and 6 feet and up, you know what I'm saying? And those long corners that have long arms, able to break up, you know what I'm saying, passes, fluid in the hips, you know what I'm saying, physical, you know what I'm saying, at the point of attack and everything that you need out of a corner. And I think that's exactly what DeCamerion has. I think he has those physical abilities. I think he has the traits of a really good corner. He just needs to get coached up. And when I say he needs to get coached up, I'm going to say this in regards to all of our candidates here, even from Brock Bowers all the way to our UDFAs. And I don't know if we'll be talking about our UDFAs today, but I'll be talking about it, later on. But they're all going to get coached up, and the positive is that we have the coaches to coach up these players. So it's going to be really on to Cameron how far he goes. I see him, like Eric said, right now to be kind of like a depth piece, but hey, that's the floor in regards to what he can be in regards to actually being a starter on this team. He can possibly be opposite side of Jack Jones if he's able to take the coaching that he gets. So it's going to be up to him. I think in regards to, like I said, to Cameron, his physical abilities help him. And I think that's the reason why we see this type of pick in the fourth round. When you start valuing the overall draft, you want to look at your 4 through 7. Those are guys, hey, he might be a freak athlete, you know what I'm saying, but he needs to get coached up, or I like his physical abilities, but he needs to get coached up. That's exactly fits what DeCameron is. We like his physical abilities, but he needs to get coached up. And we got him in the 4th round.
Rob Ryan, Marvin Lewis, we got the coaches to do exactly that, man. And that's why I kind of have faith in this. But he does have a little bit of lack of interceptions. He didn't get a single takeaway. That's the downfall of him. He's got to learn how to get some, got to turn over. Yeah, that's the defensive job, get the ball back to the offense. And he needs to work on that. He needs to work on a little bit of his hands, you feel me, footwork when it comes to the line and stuff like that. That's some of his cons, because I talked about all his pros, but his cons are some things like that. But at the end of the day, man, a really good potential corner that could pan out, and he's got the people around him, and we go see how they utilize him. I know he's not going to start. I know that for probably 100% he won't start. I'll say 99.9%, right? Because there's that 0.1%. I feel like Glaze is just a power. Yeah, he's going to be a swing tackle, Jack. And a shout out to everybody. Size and speed, sure tackle. He needs to work on the line. Right, and playing zone, man. That's a fact. They might convert that young man into a free safety. I mean, they convert, man. Safeties and corners, man. They're both in the secondary. They both have similar instincts, you feel me? And there you go. If you're a corner, you're a safety too. Shout out to everybody coming in, man. Hit that like button. Help support our guys. I see Twuan. If you haven't already, you already know, man. Hit that like button. Stack them up. And it'll help the algorithm, man. I'll greatly appreciate it. But now moving on, you feel me, to some of my underrated and I would say favorite picks coming up, man. I got 2 favorite picks here. And just based on what I did yesterday, last night I was making an edit, which I dropped on IG if you haven't seen it. It's on one of these guys. So if you've seen IG, you kind of know what guy I'm talking about, but we'll get to him. Became watching his film and just doing that little bit of an edit made me realize how much of a good player this guy could be, bro. And we'll get to him right now. Let's first start off with Tommy Eichenberg out of Ohio State, linebacker. We'll pick 148. What you feel about Eichenberg?
This is a guy that I talked about, weeks ahead of the draft. That I liked. I know that here, I think it was actually here on the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. Someone asked, what linebackers do you like? And I brought up Tommy Eichenberg. When I saw Tommy Eichenberg prior to the draft, and even after the draft, my ritual is that I always look at the highlights of all the players after the draft. But prior to the draft, because I already had my eyes on Tommy Eichenberg, he's just that classic middle linebacker that I would say everybody needs on their team, in the middle of their defense. And I think he's that guy. I think he's a guy that can actually, I think he can push for the starter spot. If Diablo is injured like he usually does, knock on wood, every year, and dealing with, not tackling well because he's, his size is not helping him. Tommy Eichenberg is a big physical linebacker. He actually might, to be honest with you, I haven't done the study on the measurables of all our linebackers, but I think he's actually our biggest linebacker that we have. just size-wise. If you watch it, and I encourage you to go back and look at his tape, he is a hitter, you know what I'm saying? And along with this D-line, you know what I'm saying, that he's going to love it. You know what I'm saying? To have Wilkins in front of him and all of our D linemen in front of him, and all Tommy Eichenberg is going to have to do is fill the gap. Yeah, it's going to be a problem for every running back, everybody that decides to run through a gap, because Tommy Eichenberg is going to hit that. Yes, he is a 2. He is right now identified as a 2 down linebacker, which I'm perfectly fine with that, because it's still a role that needs to be filled on this roster. But I really do envision him later on down the line, maybe in his second or third year, being right next to Spillane and really solidifying this linebacker group.
Facts, man. He was the Big Ten linebacker of the year in 2021, and it was a team leading tackler in 2022 at 120 tackles, man. A guy that he played with 2 casts pretty much, y'all, last season. And I was watching a lot of podcasts, man. I was even watching some things with some Ohio State guys that were talking about him, and they all had similar things to talk about him. He's a guy that just doesn't want to get off the field. Like a guy that no matter how injured he is, battered up, he wants to go out there and play at the highest level he can. And that's exactly what he did last season. His only knock is the same knock I had for Diablo last season, the same knock I had for Spillane last season. And y'all seen how they progressed. And it's his pass coverage skills that needs work. And at the end of the day, based on last year, and right, I have a reason to think this way because of what happened last season. I thought the linebacking group was one of the weakest points last season, entering last season. Then became one of the strongest points. Why? Because of coaching matters. Again, let me repeat it. Coaching matters.
I think we all did, Eric.
Yep.
I think we all thought the linebackers were weak as heck.
That's a fact. And then they ended up panning out. They were better in pass coverage. Both the Diablo and Spillane's knocks was that they were horrible in coverage. They went out there and was one of the best linebackers in coverage, bro. Diablo went from one of the worst linebackers, the most allowed yards by any linebacker, to better than what he was the season before because of the coaching. Antonio Pierce did such an amazing job. At the end of the day, Antonio Pierce was our linebackers coach before entering the interim head coach. He had a big part in these guys, man, and you see it. And having a guy like Eichenberg come into a system where the linebackers coach is the head coach and a ex-linebacker that won the Super Bowl, that have won it at a high level, that everybody wants to run through a wall through him. Eichenberg's one of those guys that will run through a wall even without any motivation. Now that he has motivation, he's going to run through a wall, then run into another one, and then run into a truck, and then run it back to the wall. You feel me? And that's what Eichenberg is. He may not be the fastest out there, but he's a guy that could really hit people in the mouth, and that's what a Raider is. When you listen to stuff like this, right? Like this. You hear the words, you hear what he says. You feel me? You knock him out. You feel me? You hit him. You pretty much, what it means is to be a Raider, is to smack everybody. You go out there and you go beat people's ass. That's what you do. And that's what Eichenberg does, man. And that's what Jackson Powers does that we talked about earlier. Guys that just throw everybody, hey, fuck you. That's pretty much what it is, a big fuck you to everybody. So that's why I like Eichenberg a lot, man. He's not my favorite just because I have other favorites, and you'll see right now. But Eichenberg is a dog.
I ain't gonna lie. Eichenberg is one of my favorites.
Okay.
And it's because exactly what we're talking about, and exactly what I've been wanting for the longest is to really solidify the middle of our defense. And the linebacker is a very key piece to what we do on defense. Tommy Eichenberg may not be the best in coverage, but what I've seen it with Tommy Eichenberg, and he may not even be the fastest, fastest linebacker, but he's smart enough to get in those positions and spots that he needs to be in to do what he needs to do. And that's perfectly fine with me. I know that he'll get better. You know what I'm saying? And, like we talked about in the draft, and I'll bring this up, Eric, because we were talking about it. you know what I'm saying, on draft day in regards to Tommy Eichenberg on that third day. We talked the call that Antonio Pierce, when he talked to Tommy Eichenberg, showed me some things too. Coach Antonio Pierce told Tommy Eichenberg, hey, I need you to come here and bring that green dot energy, right? What is a green dot? The middle, the signal caller, the guy that has the smarts, the abilities to point things out, line people up, even line up some of our D linemen, say, hey, I need you to shift over because I'm about to, you take this gap, I got this gap. He has those smarts, you know what I'm saying? And he may not necessarily be our green dot starting out, but he has that ability. So to have that along with Spillane, you know what I'm saying, the smarts of Spillane. We know that Spillane is calling shots already in place, but to have somebody get groomed in for that, hey, let's just say, and I'm knocking on wood early. Let's just say Spillane goes down. Hey, Tommy, I know you have some green dot experience. I know you got this down. And now I need you to call the shots. And we need to have that. That's what you call depth. You know what I'm saying? That's what, next man up and all of that stuff. And I'm glad that we're doing this because, again, contractually, in about 2 years, the only people that's going to be here is Tommy Eichenberg and Bernie if we don't pay anybody. So Masterson's going to be gone. Diablo's going to be gone. And like I said, I think Spillane's going to get paid, but we need to address this linebacker group and to have this guy come in early, you know what I'm saying, possibly get groomed up, maybe get a couple of snaps here and there and get him ready for, maybe next year or the year after that. We're setting ourselves up for success.
Facts, man. And then obviously, we go on to the next pick here. And obviously Eichenberg was in my opinion, I had him at a 3rd, 4th round projection. He went in the 5th round. Great value there. But moving on, one of my favorites. Now we go on to one of my favorites here. And somebody that hasn't been getting too much praise, man. People don't really like the pick. It's been one of my favorites just the more and more I watch film on him. Dylan Lobby, man. Out of New Hampshire. You could consider him a mini tiny Christian McCaffrey the way he plays, man. Could catch off the backfield, great running abilities, great burst and all those different things, man. He may not be a 4-1, 4-2 run guy, but obviously a guy that was one of the best in the FCS. Not only that, also led back-to-back years in all-purpose yards. Lobby is a dog, man. Lobby is a dog, man, and a guy that, at the end of the day, he's already bringing that energy, man. If you've seen what the video he gave to us, he practically said, he kind of made a joke, and it was kind of funny. It was like, let's ride. And then he was like, psych. And I was like, that thing is just hilarious, bro. But he's inheriting that. He knows that. Like, this is a guy that I think was under the radar, man. I didn't have him as my top 5 running back at all. He's a guy that I didn't even have on my list because I was more keen on getting somebody in the 3rd, 2nd round or even 4th. And instead, they went into the 6th round and got a guy that has a high upside. Now, like I said, in the FCS, All-American, all that stuff, all-purpose yard, back-to-back years. He had 699 yards receiving, 7 receiving touchdowns. He also had 2 kick return touchdowns and 2 punt return touchdowns, so 2 of each. And then on top of that, I just think of him as a kick return, punt return specialist for us year 1, a backup running back 3 or 4. And then as time progresses, he might jump up to the 2nd or 1st spot eventually. But he has a high upside. The guy has the resume to back it up, and a guy that has always been an underdog and stuff like that, man. So for me, Dylan Lobby is one of my favorite picks from New Hampshire, and hey, he's gonna bring that what our system is all about: running back by committee, pass catch out the backfield, and be a receiver as well. That's what he's at, man. And he's the size of Nick Chubb, if you wanted to know his size. So 5'11", 200, and the 200 pounds. Twuan, talk to me about Dylan Lobby.
This, and I know this is why, I think this is another reason why Eric's excited about this guy. I like this guy too. but I wouldn't. I like I said, Tommy Eichenberg. That's probably one of.
Yeah.
I have
Facts,
another.
facts.
I have another guy that's my favorite on the back end of this draft too, and we'll get to him too. But I Dylan Laube is definitely a guy that kind of reminds me of the guy that's in the first round. You know, he's pretty much Brock Bowers at running back. You know, he can run like a running back. He can run routes like a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And you know, have that versatility. So, you know, there's a lot of my mind races when you start thinking about, you know, having Dylan Laube, you know what I'm saying, Brock Bowers out there on the field at the same time. You don't know what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? The defenders don't know what they're about to do, you know, and they're not only just running their routes, but they're shaking people. They're breaking tackles, you know what I'm saying, getting yards after catch. That's why I'm not really, you know, as much as, yes, we still need to, you know, I would still eventually love to get the quarterback of the future, get the quarterback, our franchise guy. I'm glad that you know, we have these weapons around the current quarterbacks that we have. Think about it. You throw a 2-yard pass to Dylan Laube, that might just go to the house. You know what I'm saying? You might throw a 5-yard route to Brock Bowers, that might go to the house. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to throw all the way down the field for us to score touchdowns with these guys. And Dylan Laube is one of those guys. As much as I like Abdullah, you know what I'm saying? And you, for those that know me, I'm a fan of Amir Abdullah, but there's going to be a time where Abdullah is going to have to retire. And who's going to slide into that spot? Dylan Laube. You know what I'm saying? I think the question mark is, and we're going to have to see how he does in regards to pass blocking, because, again, that's what you're going to need out of a third down back. You know what I'm saying? How well can he pass block? You know, on the NFL level, he may have done it on the college level, but can he do it on the NFL level? That's going to be the wait and see. But if he can be a good blocker on the NFL level, yeah, he might be our future third down back too.
Facts, man. And you know, with me, I like Dylan Laube. I mean, he's one of my favorites at the end of the day, man. I'm not projecting him to start day one. Hell no. But a guy that brings so much to the table, man. It has so much upside. And you know, when you watch his film, you just have that feeling of, damn, this player is good. Better than where he was picked. So obviously, you know, Lobby's gonna do it all, running back, kind of like Rashard was the Raiders, but maybe better. Yeah, that's a fact, man. And you know, Lobby does need to learn how to block, but what in New Hampshire they had him always as just a weapon. Just a weapon. And he's a guy that brings that kick return, punt return specialist to the team. So I wouldn't doubt it if he fights for a kick return, punt return start, because he has that capability. 2 punt return touchdowns and 2 kick return touchdowns. And now the kick return is one of the most important things in the NFL in this upcoming season. You break one line, that's it. You're gone. You're gone. If you got the speed, you're pretty much gone, unless somebody tracks you down. But that's Dylan Laube. You know, now we move on here, pushing a little bit forward. And I don't know if this is Twan's favorite, but this is one of my. This is my second favorite, very favorite. I think this is probably my number one favorite person just out of the last 2 days, just watching film and making an edit of them, and I'll post it on YouTube tomorrow. I post it on Instagram if you have it on Instagram. But this guy is a dog, bro. I wasn't familiar with his game until I fully did my analyzation on him and film study on him. And oh my God, for hours I was watching this guy play. The boy from Air Force, Trey Taylor, a missile here out of Air Force, what had the Pat Tillman Award, which is an out the field award, pretty much for his character, his intelligence, and his sportsmanship, which that shows his character a lot. Not only that, he also won the Jim Thorpe Award for the nation's top defensive back with 3 interceptions and 74 tackles. He also is a 6', 213-pounder guy that just, damn, bro. At 7th round, that is crazy value, bro. The more I watch film on him, I have him in the 4th round. I have him in the 4th round. And that's how much this guy is talented, man. And at the end of the day, this guy brings a lot of versatility to the team, man. A lot of dogness, right? And he kind of talked about it in his speech and when he got the Jim Thorpe Award. And you'll see on the edit, I put his speech in there, like a part of his speech. And he talked about that he was always the underdog, and he likes that because he always has to prove himself to everybody, and he always succeeds at it. And that's where the Jim Thorpe Award, and that Jim Thorpe Awards, he said that helped him realize how much he's got in him, but that also made him realize that he wants more at the NFL level, which means starting position. That means leading interceptions. That means leading tackles, or maybe hoist the Lombardi Trophy, win championships, win the AFC. Like, all these things is what I like about Trey Taylor, is his out of field and in the field, man. He's been an underdog out the field. If you guys know his story, out the field, he's been always coming up. And as well as on the field, he's always been a guy that people kind of shed away, and he always proved them wrong. So for me, Trey Taylor, I love this pick, bro. This was my first favorite pick, man, besides Dylan Lobby. What you thinking?
Trey Taylor is the other favorite. You know what I'm saying? I love this pick. I think to get him in the 7th round is a complete,
it's crazy.
This goes exactly the overall theme that I said in this draft. Value and versatility. The value on this pick. I don't think any of us really was looking at safety. You know what I'm saying? We got Merrick. We got Epps. You know what I'm saying? Power just got signed. We just recently, you know what I'm saying, drafted Chris Smith that was, showing a little bit here and there, but really didn't get a lot of, action because the other guys were playing well. And to be honest with you, with Trey Taylor, like remember I said your anointing will make room for itself. Yeah. They're going to have to make room for him. I think in regards to the traditional 53 man roster, they usually carry about 4 safeties on that roster on the roster. I think they're going to have to squeeze an extra safety in here because I don't see, to be honest with you, I don't see the 4 guys that I talked about, the Powell, the Chris Smith, the Merrick, and the Epps, they're not leaving, so they're just going to have to add him. Simple as that. Because I don't think he will be. I think he'll get stolen if they put him on the practice squad. That's how talented this safety is. And for him to get the highest award, you know what I'm saying, in college football, which is not the Heisman, but the Jim Thorpe Award, you know what I'm saying, for DBs, he beat out Cooper DeJean, you know what I'm saying, on that trophy. Like, man, the value at 7 in the 7th round. You know what I'm saying? You got to say that in the 7th round. In the 7th round typically is when you draft somebody and you're just like, hey, I'm just going to, roll the dice on somebody. This was not a roll of the dice. This was, I can't believe this guy is still here. We're going to go ahead and get him. Even though I think we're good at safety, we're just going to bring him in anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and to be honest with you, if you really ask my opinion, within those 4, if we really had to break it down, one of those guys would have to walk. Powell Mal or Chris Smith would have to walk because I think Trey Taylor is that type of corner. I think he's really that guy where, if we decided, in 2 years that we wanted, to move on from Merrick, or, we just said, hey, Epps, I'm sorry, you got to go. I think Trey Taylor's that next one up. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. Yes, he still has some coaching. Again, all these guys need some coaching, but I really believe in Trey Taylor, and I think he'll get snagged if we don't put him on the 53 or protect him on the practice squad.
Well, we got a little bit, you could say breaking news, right? It doesn't have to do with the draft, but it has to do with the switch of numbers, and it's an interesting number that this guy switched to. Aiden O'Connell has gone away from the number 4 to guess what number, and people are saying in the chat, to the number 12. Now, you know who wore the number 12 for the Raiders?
Tom Brady.
Okay, but let's say for the Raiders.
I'm just playing. I know. And that means Tom Brady ain't coming back because his number got taken.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
And thank you on T6, man. Thank you on T6 for that, bro. That made me go look and I see it. Aiden O'Connell has switched his number from number 4 to 12, which that is crazy alone, right? Because that number 12 holds a little bit of weight for the Raiders. I mean, not a little bit, a lot. So people like Gannon has worded it, and guess who else has worded it? Ken Stabler, bro. So he's going to, you could say, a iconic number on the quarterback position in the NFL.
Can we just say that Aiden O'Connell likes that pressure? You know what I'm saying? Can we confidently say that he was given 4, and we know what pressure there was in regards to 4. Everybody's still throwing their, you know what I'm saying? You can't even say that dude's name and without somebody saying something in the comment section. They probably already said something about number 4. And then now he goes to 12. Like he went to another number that has even more pressure.
That means he's
Aiden O'Connell is like that. I'm just convinced that he's like that.
He means business, bro. That's what it is. He means business. The fact that he's going to 12, you know how much that holds, bro. And I doubt he doesn't know anything. I'm pretty sure everybody in this building knows the legends. And for him to switch to number 12, he means business, man. That's what it is. He's like, hey, I already got the pressure on me. I want more pressure. Bring it. It's my job to lose. That's what we need. We need that mentality, bro. We need that mentality no matter who's under center. We need everybody to have this mentality, and that's the mentality with it, man. So Aiden O'Connell has switched to the number 12.
What was his number in college?
Was it 6? Hold on, AOC Purdue.
I don't think it was 12.
It was 16. It was 16. 16.
It was 16. Okay. I was like, I know it wasn't 12.
So yeah. Shout out to everybody, man. I see everybody yelling in here, man. It was good.
Yes,
shout out to Nutty Raider Nate. What's good, Nutty Raider Nate? D Menace was good. Good to see everybody coming on in, man. I appreciate you guys. If you guys missed it, Aiden O'Connell has changed his number from the number 4 to the number 12. So there you go. The snake, man. Yep. It's the last person that worded it. Oh, well, besides Gannon, right? Shout out to Eric Raiders, Hunter. What's good, Eric? What's good? Good to see everybody, man. AOC has big balls switching to that number, and I like it. That's what it's about, man. I'm telling you. So now we go into the final pick before we go to the little Gallup situation before we head on out. And it has to do with one of my favorite corners coming out of draft, and I talked about him weeks prior, MJ DaVincier from Pitt, a guy that I think is, in my opinion, a better coverage corner than DeCamerion Richardson. And in my opinion, I had MJ DaVincier over DeCamerion Richardson just my personal beliefs of what I watched. At the end there, everybody's got their opinion. I like both picks at the end of the day. Both bring different elements. But this guy, he played 50 games in 5 years at Kentucky and Pitt, had 8 career interceptions, returning 3 of them to touchdowns. 3 of those 8 and I think a late round steal for sure, man. He's strong in man coverage. And he adds depth to this quarterback room, man. And at round 7, I think that's a disrespect to him. Same way it's a disrespect to Trey Taylor. Same way it's a disrespect to Lobby. I think these guys are all higher than where they got chosen. And for me, MJ, one of my favorite corners coming out of the draft, man. And I'm glad we got him. Even if it's the 7th round, I think he's worth the 5th, 4th round, and he got a 7th. So what you feel about MJ, man?
This is another one that and let me just say this overall in regards to that room. I think that cornerback room is going to be something that we need to really look at. Through preseason, that room is going to be stacked out, and there's a whole lot of new guys, a whole lot of fresh blood that's coming through that cornerback room. And MJ Devonshire is one of those guys. One of the things that really sticks out to me outside of him being a corner is I like his returnability. When I started to look at tape, and really look at MJ, he's also a returner. That there goes that, like I said, value and versatility. There goes the versatility and value in regards to MJ. And I think that's another reason why we took a stab at him, is because he has some return ability, and we're still trying to figure that out under our new kickoff rules. So of course he's going to need some coaching up. There is some positives, and I did see again, MJ Devonshire and DeCameron are corners, but they're different. And I think that's the other thing too, is, Patrick Graham is going to have to really solidify what kind of flavor, of corner he wants, because there's going to be all different types and shapes and sizes to go in that corner room. And we're still, there's an open spot, and then there's some other backfield spots that we need to get. So, he can make the team, and it can be because of, him being a corner, but he can also make the team because he can also shine as a returner too.
Facts, man. And then we go here, right? Shout out to James Purple. What's good, man? So overall, give me 1 grade for the overall draft, Twuan. Just 1 grade for everything. What would you give it?
A-.
That's what I had. I believe that's what I had on Tuesday. Yeah.
A-.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, good draft. I think this is one of the best ones yet. We got to see if they reach their potential, see how they could get molded. I think we got the coaching staff to do it. I have really high belief in these guys, man, and I hope they don't let me down, man. Knock on wood, you feel me? But moving on to the final topic, something that gives us a clear idea that we're not done yet, and was a steal, I think, in free agency. Michael Gallup goes from the Cowboys to the Raiders for $3 million. Bag of chips. So that means we're not done yet. How you feel about the Michael Gallup pickup? And also, Michael Gallup is wearing the number 10. He take Jimmy Garoppolo's number, so he's wearing 10.
Yeah, he also taking Seth Roberts' number. I like it in the sense of what we're getting him for. I love that Tom Telesco ain't playing with the money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't out there overspending for guys. You know what I'm saying? And because the language is up to, that means that's not exactly, you know what I'm saying? He's not getting exactly $3 million. He's getting up to $3 million. So that means there's incentives, there's roster, you know what I'm saying? If he makes the 53, you know what I'm saying? It might be based on how many receptions he gets. It might be based on how many games he plays. All of that will be the up to, you know what I'm saying? Maxing out at 3. So the highest that we'll be spending for Michael Gallup, a veteran, you know what I'm saying, is $3 million. I like that in regards to the money situation. The only thing is, and I've been saying it, in regards to Gallup is, hey, we need to see if he can still gallop. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, we need to see if he can still run like he used to run. He's coming off of injury. You know what I'm saying? He's old. He's a little longer in the tooth. He's older. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think this is also kind of a preseason. Let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring you in camp. Let's see if you can, you know what I'm saying, get it done. And if he can, then hey, it's going to look lovely to have DA, you know what I'm saying, you know, Jacoby Myers and Michael Gallup all on the field at the same time. Hey, let me just say it like this. Somebody's going to get open. You know what I'm saying? So with Michael Gallup, I wasn't expecting for him to come in, but hey, look, you know, let's test it and let's see if Michael Gallup can gallop for the Raiders.
Fact, man. He'll be motivated and hungry. I'm sleeping on Gallup. Don't care. No, I feel that, man. Everybody got their opinions on it, and I'll give mine right now. I'm happy Telesco finally addressed that McShit had ignored the O-line. That's a fact, man. He doesn't Gallup. He scuffles. But let me talk about Michael Gallup, right? Injury prone. I mean, that's one of his biggest cons recently. I mean, he had an 1,100-yard season, 1,000-yard plus season in 2019 for the Cowboys, and started declining from their injuries here. There took part. Was a wide receiver 4-5 for them. 3 at times, and they paid him $6 million. So for us to give him for half the price, I think is good. On top of that, I'm not expecting it to be number 1, number 2, or 3, or even 4, because I think even Bowers takes that 4th spot at receiver, because that's how much he's versatile. I would say 5 or 6. I think wide receiver 5 or 6 on the depth chart for Gallup. But as a true receiver, like listed as a receiver, then he's like the 4th, right? But as like, I would think, using them on the field, I would say a 5th, 6th guy receiver, which is good for $3 million. That's worth nothing, and we still have 20 plus million right now, and then 24 million coming after June 1st. So, and there's a lot of good free agents still out there. So I'm expecting us not to be done yet. It gives us a clear idea that they're not done yet. They didn't go receiver in the draft, so they went receiver and veteran. I think they believe in Trey Tucker a lot, which I do. If he polishes a little bit of his route running and his catching ability, he could be a tremendous ass player at that receiver position. But I will say, again, another weapon for our quarterback and stuff like that. And it's all up to the quarterback, and it's all up to Getsy. I feel like Getsy never really had a chance to utilize his full playbook because of the people that he had. I mean, he didn't have the players over there to do it. And at the end of the day, it kind of shows that sometimes some offensive coordinators need everything perfect, right? And he practically got all that here. You could say the quarterback he may not got, but at the end of the day, man, I still think Justin Fields is not what everybody, I don't know. I had a different take than a lot of people. I know a lot of people were raving about Justin Fields. I wasn't a big Justin Fields fan, but you know, for a 3rd round, 4th round pick, Justin Fields would have been good. A 3rd, 4th round pick is like a bag of chips. But yeah, facts tragedy. AOC turned to a number 12. But I think Tom Telesco is not done. I think we bring in a veteran corner. I think we still bring in another defensive lineman. And on top of that, I there's a possibility of a right tackle coming into play and one more receiver. But I would say guaranteed cornerback, guaranteed corner, defensive lineman. I think we bring in, and then that's pretty much it as far as guaranteed. But that's what
you think D line.
I think a D lineman will come either defensive end spot or at the defensive tackle spot.
And this is where I'm gonna push back on you, Eric. I don't think we're good at D line, but I think if you look at some of the guys that we brought in at D, the undrafted free agents, I think one of those guys might push for that spot on our D line. Now, can we always get a upgrade get someone better at D line? Of course, but I think money wise, I think again, I would like a veteran corner to come in. You know what I'm saying? And then we could just have these other guys kind of get groomed behind, like the DeCamerons and whoever else. There's some UDFA's corners too that I think could also push that table. But I think it would be paying for a corner, and then I think I think down the line, if our right tackles don't get it right, if Wagner ain't getting it, if Thayer Munford ain't cutting it, and Glaze needs some more time, we might actually have to go ahead and pay for that right tackle to really solidify our line, because I think that piece of our line is still a question mark. I think we're good, in all the other areas. Parham, Jackson Power Johnson. Of course, we're going to have to deal with Andre James. Of course, Colton Miller's over there on the left. But solidifying that right tackle is probably something that we'll be having to pay for.
I feel that, man. Just me, I'm just thinking of positions, because the secondary for sure needs a veteran corner. That's a fact. Yeah. I think the offensive line is pretty much set, but there is a possibility still bringing in one more. It doesn't hurt to bring in one more, maybe one more veteran. But I will say the receiving core is pretty much set. I mean, you could probably bring in another one. The quarterback room, obviously, I don't think they're going to bring one for free agency. Unless they do, he'll be like the third one. But I got to go look at the free agents that are left on the board. The last time I checked, one of my favorite defensive tackles are still there. I have to go check if he got signed, because I know some players got signed and also focused on the draft. So I have to go check, and I'll probably change my mind by next week anyways. But I do like our defensive line room. I'm just saying maybe they bring in one more. It doesn't hurt on any position to bring in one more. But I do believe for sure 110% a corner. I think 110% a corner will be brought in. That's a guaranteed spot. We could all agree on that. We desperately need, not desperately, but we need a veteran up in there to help start and then mold these other guys with potential. So cornerback for sure, we're gonna get one for free agency. Besides that, we gotta see what happens.
And personally, in regards to the corners, I think we need to kind of move on from some guys too. I think as much as we might like Sam Webb, it might be time just to move on from him. You know what I'm saying? Not because let's really think about it. How long has Sam Webb been here, and how long has it been that he's had the opportunity to show us that he could be a number 2 or a solidified guy, on this roster. You can keep going with some of those guys that are on the back end of that corner room. Those are some of the guys that I'm identifying that might be actually put on notice with a lot of these new corners coming in. So yeah, that we gotta figure that out, because we need to shape up this corner room. And the positive is that, if we bring them in young, then hopefully they can grow together. Jack Jones is still young. I think Jack Jones is going to be here for, years to come. And I think we can bring back Merrick. He's still young. You grow that secondary. We can have, I'm not saying we're going to have pretty much like a Legion of Boom, but have a secondary that's been together, a unit that grows and actually gets chemistry and all of that. So I think that's what we can build. But bringing in a veteran corner would definitely help us right now until we get there.
Justin Simmons, y'all? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not gonna throw that out there because
another safety.
Justin Simmons? No, I'm just kidding.
Kyle Mal got to go in for sure.
That's a fact. But I'm just kidding. But shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate you guys for being here, man. That's pretty much for today, man. Next week, once the schedule comes out when the 2-for-1 Nation is dropping. So perfect timing for that. I gotta see when the schedule releases, and then we'll go about it on the time on that day when we're gonna do it. Because I kind of want to go live right when it happens, but also I know it's early, and I kind of want to marinate on it before I say. I don't know. We'll talk about it behind the scenes, but we'll be back Thursday, 2-for-1 Nation. I'll be back personally Tuesday. I pushed my time forward more, so 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 9:30 p.m. Eastern is the new time for Tuesdays. No, I will not bring back Trayvon Mullen or Marcus Peters. Okay, fuck no. But that's pretty much for me. Twuan, let them know, man, where they can find you. Lives coming up, videos.
Yes. Raider Twuan. Quit playing with yourself. Go ahead and subscribe, okay? We're on our way to 500 subscribers. I believe I'm at like 25. I'm 25 away from 400, and then we got to go ahead and hit that 500 by week 1. And if we do that, then a lucky subscriber is going to win a pair of black Air Force. But I need you to do your job. Subscribe, okay? So if you're on the SC Raiders Talk, come on over to Raider Twuan. You know what I'm saying? Find the link. I know probably a mod or something is putting that in the SC chat. Go ahead and hit that link and subscribe. And you can possibly win some, you know what I'm saying, a pair of black Air Forces. So come on over and check it out. Get active, get involved. I do go live on Tuesdays. I go earlier than Eric. I'm usually live about 2:30, 2:33-ish. And we'll go about, you know what I'm saying? I think, actually, it'll be next week. We'll be talking about the UDFAs. I'll be breaking down who are the UDFAs that we brought in, and then I will specifically talk about guys that I think can actually make some noise within the roster. So I'll be saying, hey, I think this guy can push for a win, 53, or I think we need to get him on the practice squad. So I'll let you guys know those specific names that I'm looking at that can possibly make noise in the preseason with our UDFAs. Because I'm excited. I'm actually just as excited as I am about our draft picks. I'm actually even more excited about some of the guys that I saw in the UDFA. So you do not want to miss that on Tuesday. If not, you know what I'm saying, if you can't catch it live, hey, catch the replay and say something in the comment section, because I actually do respond to those if you have a question or whatever. So don't feel like your question or your thought is going to get overlooked. Definitely say something in the comment section. Shout out to the congregation.
I might push my show to 7. I'm thinking of 7 p.m. Yo, I don't know. I'm still deciding. I'm in between 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and then 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I ain't gonna lie. Let me know. I don't know which time is best for everybody. I mean, I could do it at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Pacific. I don't know. I'm still all over the place with Tuesday. I just got to see what works out for most of the people that watch me and stuff like that, so I could have the most people in there and stuff like that. But shout out to everybody, man. Blessings to you guys and your families, man. Again, daily content on my channel, y'all. I just dropped an edit. Go watch the edit on YouTube Shorts. I dropped another edit. I just came across Brock Bowers, and that one did really good. Go check out Dylan Lobby is the edit I just did. Go check it out, man. I try to work my best magic. I'm getting into that edit world. Go look at it. Hopefully you guys like it. And besides that, you guys already know how it ended up. Blessings to you guys and your families. Tough times in their life, but tough people doing. You guys are all tough people. Life is too short, so always tell your loved ones you love them. And you already know, man, it's all about another episode of 2 for 1 Nation podcast. It's your boy SC Raiders talking my boy. Got it right, Raider Twuan, and we are out of here. Peace.
I holla.
Is the will to win.